Hey fans, viewers, and listeners, welcome to another exciting episode of Fight Inside Podcast. Our guest for today is Kelsey De Santis, who made history when she fought in the first professional MMA bout in Saudi Arabia. Plus, we will talk about the illegal spike on ONE FC and the 3-belt champion. Do you guys want to be a champ? Let us know. All that and more. So, what are we waiting for? Tim, hit it! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fight Inside Podcast.
Rain, here we go with episode 161, I want to say, which is crazy. We're doing it backwards today. So if you're here only because of Kelsey De Santis, you can skip ahead to probably pass through the first 30 minutes. Then you will see our interview with Kelsey De Santis, who's coming later on in the show. Rain, I got to kick it off by giving a shout out to our friends of the podcast, as we always do. Oh, by the way, hello, Rain.
Hi, I'm here.
Yeah, you're here. Okay, friends of the podcast update, Rain. It has been crazy. I try my best to be able to give heads up of friends that are fighting. You know what I mean? Next week, March 9th in Calgary, Palace Athena Women's Fighting Championship. You got Lexi Rook from Great Britain top team. You got Kate Batchick, Queen of the South from England. You've got Regan Coconut Gowing from right here in Canada doing a Muay Thai fight. And you have Andy the Crazian Wynn fighting all on that card. They're not fighting each other, thank God. So that's good.
That's good.
Check out Palace Athena Women's Fighting Championship, March 9th. Go to their website. I think, all of our friends of the podcast, I think they have codes. I know, if you buy it with code Andy Win or something, go to their Instagrams. You're following them all anyways. So go check out and support our wonderful friends of the podcast. Rageworks Podcast Network, want to give a shout out to them, rageworksnetwork.com. Thank you guys so much. Go check out audio podcasts like ours. Timmy B is going to be down at FLA 14 and Kumite, Submission Kumite 6. That's the BJJ event. That's April 12th and 13th for Fight League Atlantic. Go get your tickets now, fightleagueatlantic.com, or watch the pay-per-view. But at the price you're going to watch the pay-per-view and get food and all that, you might as well just fly to Nova Scotia.
Yeah, get the full experience, right?
2 events back to back. You will not regret it for 1 second. So go do that. Now, Rain, Fight Insight Podcast won not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 fights this past weekend. Friends of the podcast, Chase Sherman, he won at Gamebred MMA, Bare Knuckle MMA, got a disgusting knockout. So congratulations, Chase. Eric Anders at UFC. Eric, ya boy, Anders gets a decision victory at UFC.
Yeah, boy.
Then, ya boy.
I thought you said ya boy. I was like, what?
Ya boy. You got to say it with more
yeah, boy.
Yeah, nice. Then you go to Bare Knuckle FC, BKFC, that was out in Edmonton, Canada, Rain. The Slim Reaper, Robert Desharnais, friend of the podcast. He came to us when he was just a young man, had 1 pro fight in MMA, but was looking to do bare knuckle. That's all he wanted to do. You follow his Instagram, he's just punching trees all the time. He gets the call for the BKFC Prospect Series, Rain. My wife and I are watching. He comes out. He looks the part. The dude is a scary looking dude. Goes out there, and I'm like, holy crap. I'm sweating for my friend. They go to the thing. They go, knuckle up. First freaking 5 seconds, he gets knocked down. The other guy comes at him, boom, punches him, knocks him down. I'm like, oh my God, I'm crying, I'm sweating. He gets up, knuckle up. He freaking punches the guy, grabs him in a Muay Thai clinch, with a 1-hand clinch. Boom, 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 uppercut, knockout. The guy can't get up. He wins in I don't know what it was, 15 seconds.
Wow.
Freaking Robert Desharnais, you son of a gun. I'm so happy for this dude, Rain. I can't even believe I'm cheering. I'm so happy. My wife and I are screaming. We're so happy for this dude. Congratulations to Robert Desharnais. If you have the BKFC app, go watch it. It was on BKFC Prospects Canada. 2nd fight on the card. Crazy. Rain, that whole card at BKFC, knockout. Disgusting. We get to the main event. where we have friend of the podcast, Jade Messon Wong. You may know her from her appearance here on the podcast or on her OnlyFans, because a lot of dirty perverts watch, Rain. And she goes out there, Rain, and freaking murders this chick. First round gets a knockdown in like the first minute. The girl gets up, is wobbly as hell, and then Jade just knocks this chick out. Game over. Knockout finish for the main event. Beautiful. So I'm so happy. Crazy. I'm so happy for Jade Messon Wong, as she would say in French, tabernacle, with the knockout. Beautiful. Rain, that's how awesome. Happy? 4-0 for Fight Insight. 4-0.
Telling you, we are good luck to anyone who comes on to the podcast.
It is good luck.
Chuck Buffalo.
Rain. Yeah, where the hell's Chuck Buffalo?
We're looking for you.
Chuck Buffalo is coming. I'm still trying, Rain. I'm trying my best. Now, let's get on with a couple of things that happen before Kelsey comes. Okay. ONE FC, which I have predicted is going to go out of business by the end of this year. First thing first, I'm just going to quickly talk. Anatoly Malikin. He's this Russian dude, this guy is cool as heck. Light heavyweight, wins the title. He goes up to heavyweight, wins the title. Then he decides to go down to middleweight. So 3 divisions. He goes, finishes the dude with TKO stoppage. Like the guy won't get up after he's on the ground. This freaking dude is 3 division champion, Rain. First time ever, I think, in MMA history, like professional MMA history, that someone has held 3 belts consecutively. Rain, your thoughts on a man holding 3 belts?
Well, for me personally, I think it's amazing. Good for him. He has proven his value and also his, talent, right? I remember we had this conversation a few episodes back wherein we talked about, would you rather be undefeated or someone who's like a champ, right?
That's right.
We never thought there's going to be a champ.
Unspeakable. I mean,
so now that there's that option, I'd like to be a champ.
Yes.
Why not?
Exactly. Yeah, that's where you're going for a champ. Ridiculous, Rain. Now, I'm going to ask, do you think that it speaks to the quality of contenders, perhaps, at ONE FC? That you can have a guy be a champion of 3 weight classes? And they're not making him drop a title, mind you.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell, they don't seem to care that this guy's holding 3 titles, which means he can only defend 1 title every year at most. Like, how many times are you going to fight in a year? 3 times? So he could only defend each division once in a year. Is that enough?
I think I don't think it says something about the contenders. I think it says something about, the person who has like 3 belts, because like it takes a lot just to become a champion, right? And now you have 3. He's really dedicated into the sport, into what he's doing.
Yeah.
And it's probably one of those things where he watches every single contender or possible contender in each division.
Yeah.
And honestly, to me, that's like a lot of work. And the fact that he's able to kind of watch the contenders at ONE FC and kind of focus on, I'm going to try to get into this division, be a champion. I think it says a lot more to himself, not about the contenders.
It's because you're too nice, Rain.
No, what?
Look, I'm putting it out there. 3 belts is too many belts, Rain.
Really?
3 belts is too many belts. It means, not for him. This guy is amazing, and I love him. Rain, after the fight, what's so funny is he's so happy. I mean, this dude is ecstatic, and he looks like a Russian Hulk. Like, he looks scary as hell, but he's smiling ear to ear. He's so happy. He keeps talking to his opponent, who now has just lost his belt. Mind you, I think he lost 2 belts to this guy. Okay? But he's in the ring, and Malik and Anatoly is there, and he's like, hey, thank you, good fight, and keeps him there. Like, the whole time he's doing his interview, keeps him there, and he's like, thank you so much, and he keeps kind of punching him on the shoulder, just guys would do. And then the guy that he beats goes on the mic and he goes, this guy can't even stop punching me now. Like, it was just so funny. Like, even the two guys were quite jovial with one another, but he's such a nice guy. I'm not saying anything bad about Anatoly. Fantastic dude. But I think it shows that ONE FC is really lacking with contenders. Or they're doing this with the hopes that this guy drives viewership. Because now people are going to go, who's this guy with 3 belts? This is insane. Let me go watch this guy. But it also speaks to the fact that, because if you had contenders in these 3 divisions, they'd be pretty pissed that you're holding up 3 divisions with one guy holding all belts. So I don't know. I'd love to know what you guys think, write in on the Instagram or whatever. I was posting stories about it. But to me, 3 belts is too many belts. I don't know.
I'll take them all if I can.
You like it?
Yeah. Why not? Like I said, I think to me, it just shows how much he's determined to prove.
But what if you were in one of those weight classes now and you want to fight for that belt? You're going to have to wait a year till he'll defend at least the middleweight, because he just won that one. He's got to go back and defend the other 2 first.
True.
So and you don't get paid. You don't get paid while you don't fight. So now you've got to wait, because this dumb has 3 belts.
There is, kind of like some feeling of like, oh my God, it's kind of unfair. I can't just fight this guy right away. But that doesn't mean that there's no opportunity to fight the guy. There will always be an opportunity to fight the guy. It's just a matter of time. So now if you look at it in a different perspective, it's like, okay, for me, it's like, okay, well, that means I get to prep more, study whatever fight he's going to do, study how he defended his title in a different division. Yeah. So, just finding or seeing the glass half full, I guess, for me.
Yes. Well, this is the nature of our podcast. Rain is always happy and I'm always miserable. You know what I mean? I need you to start posting on the Fight Inside account, because it could be all happy things. Meanwhile, I just post miserable crap. Someone called me on it the other day. I was posting and it was one of our followers, and I was like, "Are you okay? Why are you always so grumpy about things lately?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm just in a mad mood." But they called me on it, and I appreciate it, because I was like, "Okay, I'll be a bit nicer."
That's good. We keep the the podcast balanced.
Exactly. Hey, here's the thing, Rain. If you're listening to podcasts where you always agree with the people, why would you listen to that podcast? That's what I always say to people. It's like, if you just want to listen to someone that you 100% agree with, then I don't see the value in it. Like, you need to listen to people that have differing opinions.
True.
But this is why you and I are a good combination, because we very rarely are happy with one another.
True. There's people that hate you, and then there's people that love me. I guess, okay, hate me.
No. Sold. It's sold. Okay, Rain, here, this one is a little bit more important. I thought that we should talk about. Again, at ONE FC, which I know I'm the only guy that watches ONE FC, but here we go. Where is this video that I had lined up? Hold on. Where is it? It's not here. Is it this one? Hold on. No, that is not it. Where is my video? Hold on.
Great video, though, by the way.
Okay, thank you. So, I have it here. Hold on, I got to download it. Okay, so this happened at ONE FC. So ONE FC in the flyweight division. So these are men that are 125 pounds, Rain. Okay? Did you know that men could only be 125 pounds? Like men?
Well, I guess because I've been kind of cage announcing, so I've seen guys' weights and different divisions, So
yeah,
I realized that men can be 125 pounds.
Yeah. Okay. So in ONE FC, there's the 125 pound division. There's a guy there, the Monkey God, Jared Brooks. He's a American fighter, very good, very charismatic, very energetic. He's good for the sport, okay, because he brings a lot of eyes, especially to ONE FC. He's fighting Filipino hero Joshua Pacio. All right.
Pacio.
So the Passion Pacio. They're fighting. Within the first 2 minutes, Jared Brooks grabs him from behind. Joshua is trying to get a Kimura lock on the arm. So he grabs the arm, and he's kind of got a lock on the arm, if you know what that is, Rain. Grabs the Kimura lock. And so to kind of get out of it or to take him down, Jared Brooks picks him up from behind like a belly-to-back suplex. That I know you know what a belly to back suplex is. Picks him up, goes to slam him, but it kind of lands on Joshua's head. Like he kind of like spikes him on the head. But it's in an arc type motion. He hits his head. Joshua kind of goes down. Jared smashes him. The ref calls it. Jared goes to celebrate. And then the ref goes, no. You hit him on his head. You're disqualified. And so Jared loses the belt from a suplex that hits him on the head. Like, it's not like he picks him up and pile drives him down. If people understand what that means. So let me play you what happens now as they announce the victor. And I put this on our Instagram. We got lots of comments on this, but listen to the way that Dom Lau announces this. Listen to the way that the crowd reacts in Asia for their Filipino guy he's lying on the floor. Like, he looks like he's dead while Dom Lau is announcing this. Okay, here it is.
After 56 seconds in the very first round, for your winner by way of disqualification, Joshua Palacio.
So Joshua Palacio.
Rain, as a ring announcer, first thing I would like you to comment on, the way that Dom Lau announces a disqualification. Your thoughts?
So I guess my initial thought was like, he didn't really sound excited, right? The way I heard it, he didn't sound excited. Now, I've seen ONE FC and I've heard him announce, other fights, and at this event too, I've kind of like heard him, make some announcements. And honestly, I think that's just kind of like his tone in general, trying to pump up the crowd and, basically, doing his announcer voice, right, for every announcement that he did. So for me personally, like the way he announced the no disqualification, the disqualification decision, he didn't really sound excited to me. I think it honestly just sounded like the way he sounded like in other bouts. Now, it brings me to I guess another level of ring announcing, right? Wherein it's like he kind of I don't know, maybe there's like times wherein you can sound really excited, and then there's times wherein you kind of the energy should be different because it's like a different type of decision. But again, like with him, I feel like his voice kind of like has like the same tone no matter what, because I think he's trying to like kind of
he's got a very tone like this, Rain.
he has that kind of tone. So to me, it's like maybe that's kind of like just his style, right?
No, okay, hold on. I feel like you're going in a circle.
No, I'm just saying I don't think he sounded excited in the.
You don't think he sounds excited?
No.
I'm gonna play it one more time for the millions listening at home.
After 56 seconds in the very first round, for your winner by way of disqualification, Joshua.
See, okay, so
for your winner, pause, by disqualification.
But I think that's just his style. And then but
why can't why can't he say for your winner by disqualification? Like, why can't he do it in a downwards tone? He's raising his tone.
I cannot speak for him.
Okay, Rain, here we go.
That's his style. But notice that after he said disqualification, the excitement came in when he announced the name. And I think it's because he heard a bunch of fans cheering.
Yes, because because mind you, the crowd doesn't know what's happening, right? What happens is once he suplexes him, he then goes on top and starts pounding him in the head.
Mm-hmm.
The ref calls it, and he gets up and celebrates. Mm-hmm. Nobody understands he has truly lost. I think if you're the fans in the crowd, you think this guy just won and beat your hero or like a fellow Asian, right? Which is racist. But so they don't realize. So then when he calls it, that's when the crowd erupts. Now, I'm also annoyed at the crowd because you're cheering for a disqualification, which kind of doesn't, like, you know what I mean? I get it. What are they going to do? But it just seems weird to me. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But Rain, I'm going to put you on the spot here. I would like you to announce a disqualification. So I want you to do like the winner by disqualification, like those kind of words, right? But the winner by disqualification, Joshua Pacquiao. But I want you to do it how you would do it.
Okay. This fight ended at what? First round? Or
56
what?
seconds in the first round. Yeah.
56 seconds, first round. Ladies and gentlemen, this fight officially comes to an end at 56 seconds of round number 1 for your winner by disqualification, Joshua Pacquiao.
But
That's
see,
going to be my tone.
Yes, now louder, of course, but you were monotone through the disqualification word.
Correct. But that's again, like for me, that's just my style. If it's not something and there's no clear winner, right? Like unanimous or split.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like, oh my God, split decision winner, unanimous decision winner. No, if it's anything outside of that, or in kind of like when I announced the no decision at my last UNF event, that was my tone.
I know, but no decision is still, at least no decision is nobody wins.
Yeah, no one won. Yeah. This
is like you're celebrating the guy getting disqualified. That's what's no. First of all, Rain, I'm trying to get you a job, okay?
I know. No, I'm just saying.
I think how you just did it is better than what Don Lau just did. Because I don't like it. And I feel like it, I'm going to say it, I feel like it's also because he's the hometown guy. Because I feel if it was the reverse, if Joshua spiked Jared, I don't know that they would announce it like that. And I don't think the crowd would have reacted like that. And that's what bothers me.
I see. Okay, I see what you're saying. To be honest with you, I think he probably would have announced it the same way, except that you would hear boos instead of like cheering.
Yeah, and maybe that would alter my tone fine. Now, Rain, before our guest gets here, I do want to quickly say I was trying to get our friend and yours, Judge Mike Bell, to come on the podcast. He was busy, but he gave me a lot of information because I was like, Mike, why is this guy disqualified and loses his title for a spike? Why isn't it a no contest? Do you know why?
But didn't they have it on the tail of the tape graphic that there shouldn't be any like
no
spikes
spiking?
on the head? Yeah, on the head. I think I might be wrong on this, but I thought that I'd seen something on the tail of the tape. There's like something that says no hitting on the head, something like that.
Yes, there is. But so the problem is that I think there's a few things here at play. And so Mike Bell was really nice. He said he will come on later to talk about it and we can kind of get into it. But there were a few things. One is that in UFC, it clearly stipulates that a spiking motion has to be 12-6. So you have to take a guy with his feet in the air and push him down onto his head. They're very clear in saying what a spike is, but our friend says that there is not such a distinction for ONE FC. ONE FC fights under the global rules, whereas UFC fights under the unified rules. So he says that it's a little bit different in that respect.
Okay.
He also says that there's nothing that talks about an arcing motion when it comes to ONE FC. It's generally just the minute you hit the guy's head, that's it. Okay. And then he also said that there's really no rule around the whole intentional versus unintentional, because I tried to argue that with Judge Mike Bell. I said, hey, he's doing a suplex. He's not trying to spike the guy.
But that's just how it landed.
That's how it landed.
Yeah.
And then I also said, and Joshua's got the guy in a Kimura arm lock. He's trying to enforce a submission. So why is that not the same as when Jessica Andrade slammed Rose Namajunas on her head? These are all things that we must find out, Rain. And I need someone from ONE FC to get on this podcast and explain to me why one of my good, not I'm going to say a good friend, but like a guy that I like, Jared Brooks, just lost his title due to a spike, which does not seem to be like a spike.
Mm.
So I'm very upset, Rain. I could not be more upset at this. I want to talk about this more, but our guest is here and I'm so excited. Rain, she's down there below, so let's get to it. But look, we're going to talk about this later. I'm going to try and get Judge Mike Bell back on the podcast because I want to talk about the spiking motion. Rain, I do not like the way that he announced that, but I like the way you announced it. If you're Shotri with 1FC, Rain is available as a ring announcer. Please call Rain and get her to join your shows. Rain, should we do this?
Let's go.
Get our guests in? Yeah, okay. Let me get rid of the banner here that shows like the spike.
I like that.
And, yeah, well, I do my best, right? So, all right, here we go. Okay, so guys, this is it. We are very excited to have this guest here today. And our guest, she is a mom of two and a dog mom and dog lover. She's a former Marine Corps veteran who served in many elite and distinguished roles, including positions in the Military Police K-9 Unit and the Marine Corps Martial Arts Center of Excellence. She holds a master's degree in public relations and communication from the University of Miami. She has already lived a life more than most of us ever will. She took Justin Timberlake, JT, to the Marine Corps Ball, for goodness sakes. She's an MMA fighter who accepts all challenges. She fought Claressa Shields at the Banner PFL versus Bellator event. She lost a very controversial decision, so that's why we're having her in here today. She was in a weight class about 20 pounds over her normal weight. They weren't allowed to throw elbows. I can't even explain it all, Rain, so let's just bring her in. Announce her in here, Rain.
Please welcome Kelsey De Santis.
Hey guys, thank you for having me.
Kelsey, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm so excited to be on the show. I love that what you guys are doing and what you guys are putting out. So needed, so important.
Oh, thank you so much, Kelsey.
You.
May I ask, I apologize, are you able to turn your camera sideways? We will get
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, here we go.
Is that going to work a little bit better?
There we go.
Let's see. Okay, let me move you back a little bit. There we go.
Thank you so much. Where are you right now?
I'm actually just down the road from where I live at one of the places that I have lunch when I can. So they have like a back area, and I was just like, oh, I'll just sit up here.
And because you're Kelsey De Santis, you say, everybody leave. I am doing a podcast.
Thankfully, no one was back here, so I didn't have to give anyone the boot.
Okay. But you could if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Kelsey, thank you so much for joining the show. It's a real honor and a privilege to meet you. I do want to give a shout out right away to a podcast that you did with MMA Sucka. I want to tell people that was a fantastic interview you did with that guy. It was a long interview. Yeah. And you went through everything like with your life. So if you want to find out all about Kelsey, please do check that podcast out. I really enjoyed it. MMA Sucka, go check them out. So thank you, Kelsey. You're here for one reason, and it's to talk about your fight, the aftermath of it and everything. I know you had some stuff that you wanted to say. I don't know how we want to start this interview, but I feel like you have stuff that you want to get off your chest. And so maybe we'll go like that. Like, what are you thinking? What are you feeling right now?
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good for me. I like to freestyle and get like what's on my chest off right away. And first and foremost, I was so thankful to have the opportunity to fight on this card, make history in Saudi Arabia. And it has just been such a pleasure and special thing for me to be able to do at this point in my life. And I'm so grateful for that. No one can ever take that experience away from me. I think that I won the fight. I actually know that I won the fight, running it back a few times, watching it over. By split decision, but I definitely won the first and the third. And it was interesting to see kind of things unfold. Obviously, I knew that Claressa was the favorite, but to the point where, she's being mentioned as the only woman making history in Saudi Arabia, which I was like, okay, like, you gonna go in there and fight yourself?
Yeah.
So that was kind of like a tip off from the beginning. And then, the commentary, I mean, there was a lot of things that were just like, okay, this doesn't add up. But never have I like gone into the cage and then someone tell me to get out of the cage. I was like, what is going on here? Like,
Wait.
I don't know. Like, I was waiting for the camera guys. They gave me the cue. So I walked out. And then it was like a shit show. When I got in there, they were like, this guy's telling me go back out. I'm like, you want me to go back out of the cage? I just got in here. He's messing up my flow. You know what I mean?
Wait, hold on. Did you make the whole walkout to your music and everything?
No, I didn't hear my music or anything. So yeah, which, you know, again, this is just one of those things that I was like, from the beginning, I knew that Claressa was going to be treated a certain way, you know, and that's fine and everything until it comes to actually articulating a decision. That's where I'm like, okay, you know, we can play favorites all you want, but when you look at MMA and where we're at, we're not in a boxing match. You know what I mean? The whole idea of having kicks and takedowns and all these other elements of mixed martial arts, that's what changes the field, really. You know what I mean? In terms of the battlefield. And it was news to me. I found out that this was her third fight, but her third professional fight without elbows. And I understand, like, from my understanding, PFL, you know, depending on what season you're in or what's going on, they do or don't allow elbows. However, I personally think that that's sheltering fighters from the whole perspective of mixed martial arts. That's like going into a boxing ring and saying, you know what, don't use the right hand. We're not going to do right hand punches. And I just think it's so ridiculous, because you get top position like I did early in the first round, and you can cut open your opponent, and that could be a TKO, a knockout right there with the elbows. And I feel like Claressa's game plan has really been built upon the fact that she's not threatened when somebody is on top, really, because she's defending punches and things of that sort, but she doesn't have to worry about getting cut open by an elbow. And to me, that's just ludicrous. All my amateur fights were full pro rules. We were doing elbows way back then in Virginia, and I even have a knockout with elbows. So it was just kind of crazy to see things kind of come together. That was announced the night before the fight. So it was kind of news. Yeah.
You didn't know you couldn't throw elbows until the night before the fight?
So technically, no. Me and Brian were trying to figure that out. I was trying to figure out my whole fight camp, right? And they were like, there wasn't really an official answer. Yeah. And then the night before the fight, it's stated that we're the only professional fight with this, and to me, this is a total discredit. If all the men on the card are allowed to use elbows, then why can't the women? You know what I mean? And
hold on. Do you think did they say it's because you're women?
No.
No, but so I don't.
No.
I mean,
I just like to point out, like, you know, I believe in equal opportunity as a whole, and I just think I was ashamed that we weren't given the same opportunities as the men fighters on the card.
Okay, but hold on. Let's look, Kelsey. I love controversy and conspiracies, right? I create conspiracies almost every week. I'm going to say that if there's a reason there was no elbows, it's because it was Claressa Shields, not because you're women.
Oh, 100%. No, 100%. No, I think that that's what it came down to, is I think that they're sheltering her. I mean, clearly, you know, like you can see by the way that this fight went, and winning 2 out of the 3 rounds, being on top position. Yeah, she did damage in the second, but she didn't knock me out. You know what I'm saying? What is she good at? She's good at boxing. And that's what she was able to do, is use her boxing in the second round. But it wasn't like I just gave up in the second. You know what I'm saying? We were doing a lot of on our feet wrestling. I had cage control a lot of the rounds. I got another takedown in the second. She got back up, but you know, she was able to utilize her boxing in that second round. But this is the majority of the way that the first round went, as you can see right there. And if you can imagine elbows from this position, that's a whole different fight.
Well, it is funny that you say that, though, Kelsey, because I did my first MMA commentary gig a couple months ago out in East Coast Canada, Fight League Atlantic. Shout out to Derek Clark and Fight League Atlantic. There were amateur fights on the card. And one of the things that you cannot do is strikes to the head of a grounded opponent. And so it's very interesting, because when they got to that position, if someone got to a dominant mount position, you couldn't strike to the head. Now, understandable because it's an amateur fight and all that, but it
Right.
definitely played into the game plan of like, okay, well, now how do I get this guy out of there? So for you, if you're training up until the day before the fight, you're fighting an Olympic boxer. Obviously, part of the game plan is to take her down, which you did expertly. But then when you get her down, you can't throw the big bombs.
Exactly. Yeah. And that could have been right there, the deciding factor. Like she said, her damage in the second round, apparently, well, first of all, after the fight, you could tell like body language doesn't lie. Her head was lowered. She was defeated. She looked defeated to me, my corner. I was smiling because I knew that I won and she knew that I won. And I screenshotted quite a few of those photos to just make sure. And the whole time her head was low. And, that's a telling tale of performance. This is what I wanted to tell you guys, is that I am so confident in my abilities. And yes, I should have finished that fight. In the first round, when I had the arm off to my left hip, it actually popped twice and I let up. Looking back, it would have been best to break her arm without her tapping. However, at a white belt level, sometimes I feel like they'll push it too far and don't realize that a break like that, your arm is never going to be the same. Your arm is never going to be the same with a break like that. And so, thankfully, I didn't break her arm for the win, which many people would have done. And it's the referee's job to save the other fighter and to, make sure that they come in. And moving forward, that's definitely going to be top of mind for me. However, right. I know that regardless of that, I won this fight. And that I'm so convinced that I won this fight, along with the fact that I'd love to rematch Claressa, that I'm willing to say that if I don't end a rematch fight with her, that I would consider hanging up my professional MMA career and just focusing on high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competitions.
So Kelsey De Santis is saying, similar to like a WWE fight, this is loser goes home.
Yeah.
If you lose, you will no longer fight.
Absolutely. Like, honestly, because I'm not just talking losing. I'm talking about finishing the fight, because my goal was to finish this last fight. And unfortunately I didn't by my own hand. But now moving forward, I'm so confident and I know so well that I won this fight and that I'll beat her anytime, any place, that I would love to have the opportunity to rematch her. And if I don't finish the fight, I'll hang up my MMA career, period.
You heard it here first, Rain. Kelsey, you didn't break the arm.
No.
Do you regret not breaking the arm?
I thought about it, and at first I was thinking, you know what, I should. This is why I began thinking about possibly I should have broke her arm, is because of her response when her hand was raised. She jumped up and down with true excitement. Her response after the fight is nothing close to what I consider a humble champion. And looking back, I thought to myself, you know what? I should have taught her a lesson and broke her arm. But to be honest with you, that kind of goes a little bit against like who I am. I've trained so much at a high level. I know when a real threat is present. And I wasn't threatened for my life. And I could have broke her arm. And moving forward, I might just, because like I said, I'm committed to finishing fights. And, lesson learned, but especially after seeing the way that she handled the win, I was like, well, this is not champion at all. This is not, there's no emotional intelligence. I think she lacks a lot of respect and understanding of when it comes to being a true martial artist. And if I'm the one to deliver that next lesson, then so be it.
Right. Now, I was surprised because we've seen breaks before in UFC and stuff like that. We've seen girls break their arms, which I've been like so grossed out. And then to realize that there's no rule against it. meaning like you can just get an arm in an armbar and just snap it. Like you don't have to go slow pressure.
Right.
Which I never knew that. So it's more about a respect thing, and it's about like a martial artist type thing. But like what you're saying, but I mean that it was a tough one for sure. You've put it out there on Instagram, like I saw, and I do want to shout out Brian Butler, your manager, which is who you're talking about from Sucker Punch Entertainment. He's the man. He got us in touch with you. We've had him on this podcast. He's a great, great guy. We're both half Asian, so we share that in common.
Represent.
Here was, I think, no, it's not this one. Hold on. It was on your Instagram. You had posted some things, and Claressa Shields had written back to you.
Yeah.
So this was on your original post, and she says, "Great fight, Kelsey. In my opinion, the ref should have stopped it when you kept turning your head and running. Great arm bar attempt and great way to get the mount, but damage, I didn't get any." And then you say, "Let's rematch with elbows the way it's supposed to be at 155 pounds. I want to raise that issue. Why was the weight at 160? You've only ever competed at 145, is my understanding."
Yeah. So about 2 weeks before the fight, Brian called me and was like, "Hey, so she's not going to make the weight." And I was like, "Okay, well, we could go 5 pounds catch weight. So now we're talking about 160. And he came back with me. He said, "No, they have a doctor's note saying that she can't make anything but 165. I was like, "Okay," because of hormonal issues. And I'm a certified diet nutritionist, weight cut specialist. So I know that no one's going to be bullshitting around like over 7 pounds. I gave her a 7-pound catch weight option after the 5, and they still said no go. So then Brian had to do his magic, but it was like a whole ordeal. You know what I mean? Like this was a whole thing, like very non-professional, again, very unprofessional. Like we're supposed to be dealing here with a champion, an Olympic champion. You know what I mean? You would think that there would be more honor in the communication, more respect in the communication. But she couldn't make 5 pounds. She couldn't make the 7 pounds. So then we had to go to 165. And she was basically saying, okay, and I have another screenshot I should have shared with you, that she was like, "You don't have to accept the fight at 165. So she was going to blame, I know how she was working. She was going to blame me if I didn't take the fight at 165. They were trying to just bully me into 165 and make it look like, oh, well, if I don't accept, then I ran from her. And I was like, no, I don't run from anybody. Like I'm here to fight. And I really want to make this fight specifically because it's in Saudi Arabia, and making history for the women of the Middle East is the bigger picture here, not about you." So we ended up making it work at 165, but there's never been, first of all, I've never fought at 155. I was excited to fight at 155. Because there's like hardly any women fights at that. There's definitely no women. I've never heard of any women's MMA fights at 165. But again, this just goes to show is like, this is a constant, like they are catering to her. And I get it. When you come to the table with close to 1 million followership, you know what I mean? And she has almost as big as audience as PFL does. So no wonder they're kissing her feet. But where are we going to stand with integrity and stand with justice and say, hey, you know what? Our judges, they don't lean, into favoritism. They stand for what's right, and they're evaluating all aspects of martial arts, not just punching from your feet and standing. So that was my biggest discrepancy with it. I was chugging water day of weigh-ins to make myself, because I woke up at about like 162, and I was like drinking water to be like, I don't want her to think that she's going to go in there like I'm a lightweight. She's going to go in there and, bully me around, because that's how she's been this whole camp, is thinking that, everybody just kisses her feet and that, she's going to come in there and show me what's up. It's like, please, you saw her face after the fight. I have, you can tell she knows that she was defeated. She's lucky that I didn't break her arm. And if the least that she could do after trying to bully me into fighting her at 165 and not being a professional and making the weight that she signed for, which I even offered to help her make, she should rematch me. And she's talking about a fight with Chris Cyborg. You can't even beat me. You have to get a handout from everybody, a fake win. And now you think you can beat Chris Cyborg? The least she could do is get a warm up in, rematch me at the weight that we're supposed to, fight with elbows, because I promise you, Chris Cyborg won't hesitate in breaking her arm or freaking destroying her either. You know what I'm saying? And and given the situation is what it is, I really tried to beat her with love and compassion, and because I respected her as, you know, a woman in the sport. But after I saw the way that she handles herself and how she celebrates a fake win and has no honor in that and no respect, and she's going to come on and talk to me about, like, you know, we should have seen the refs stop the fight in the second round. Like, no, we weren't even close to that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it is what it is, but I'm excited. I hope that she takes it serious when thinking about moving forward, because a lot of people know that she didn't win this fight. And I exposed her weaknesses. Wait, if she rematches me, wait till you see how I'm going to treat her on her feet, what I'm going to be able to do standing up even against her, and then I'm going to finish her. Because I want to show the world that when you hold yourself with honor and you're a true fighter, a true martial artist, you can overcome anything. And no matter, even, it doesn't matter what people say or what favoritism happens, you know, wins, losses, whatever. I don't care. I'm going to finish her based off her character alone.
How come they were able to call you 2 weeks before the fight to tell you it's 165, but not in that same call let you know if elbows are in it or not?
Because I don't think that wouldn't be good for them. You know what I'm saying? They wanted to keep things under wrap as long as they could. You know, I knew that they knew going along from the beginning, I'm sure, that they were like, no, Claressa is probably so scared of elbows. Are you kidding me? She's got to be she has created her whole MMA game, I truly believe this, around dodging elbows. And you know how damaging that is for her or anybody that's practicing martial arts? Just know that when somebody gets you on the ground and they have a dominant top position, they're likely to freaking kill you in real life. They are likely to kill you. And we're not talking about just striking. We're talking about a lot with the elbows. Elbows cut open opponents, and they make it so you can't hold on and you can't block. You know what I'm saying? It just breaks through, cuts right open. And then the hammer fists and all these things start to come. So, you know, she's really, she doesn't move. Once you mount her, or you're in a dominant top position, she doesn't even move like a martial artist does, pushing away the hips, trying to escape the position. She doesn't move because I think her whole game plan is based around holding the arms and making it look like she's not taking shots and holding on for dear life until she gets back up to her feet. And that's just not a good strategy.
We got, you know, people wrote in, of course, and so you're talking about this and wanting the rematch. So I will just shout out, B. Michael 15 asked, when is the rematch? You won the fight, Devil Dog. We love you.
Yeah, that's my family. My Marines came out for me. I know. I don't like so many Marines from all over. My friends outside of we're just a huge family. We're a tribe. You know what I mean? And that's why I take the Marine Corps flag with me when I fight and represent. So, and plenty of them they'll tell you how it is. Like, I have no problem telling you when I lost. You know, if I lost, I'll tell you I lost and this is why, and I need to get better and this and this and this. But I didn't lose this fight. And a lot of Marines, they stand up for what's right. We're used to taking shit and, you know, making things happen regardless. And a lot of Marines are like, no, like, you won that fight. We saw it. You know what I'm saying? So you can't pull the blind over everybody's eyes. Not everybody is uneducated and ignorant like a lot of Claressa's followers. Let's be honest, because we're talking about boxing. We're talking about boxing, one form of martial arts, which I love. I love the sport of boxing, but we are in the new age of MMA. And that's when you have all these different arts and disciplines that you mix together, and it's a hybrid. And you have to be understanding to the fact that, hey, even if she's a 2-time Olympic champion in boxing. Of course, if she didn't punch me like she did in the second round, why would she even be fighting? She shouldn't even be fighting in MMA, period. You know what I mean? Of course she could do that. But the fact that she couldn't pull off any kicks, and I showed you the stats. The stats they were so bad. Oh my God, they're so bad. Listen, if you look, here's a clear indication. Look over at her ground strikes. 8 out of 8, bro. Come on, PFL. You can't be lying like this. This is so bad. Her leg strikes. I didn't even throw 18, that's for sure. I think I threw about 10, landed about 6. I sent you the exact breakdown of where I was at. This is such an exaggeration. She threw 11 leg strikes and landed 9 of them. Bullshit. She landed 0 leg kicks and threw 2. And go watch. I can't believe they still have the video up. I can't believe they still have the fight up because of how bad the numbers, the commentary, everything was positioned in terms of rigging. They rigged the fight for her to win. So.
Let me get. Look, I love all this shit, Kelsey. Like,
okay.
I mean, before you got here, I was saying how baloney there was some stuff happening in ONE FC that I'm not a fan of. I want to play this. I recorded this, which was the commentary. I think this is near in the 3rd round, maybe, or at the second. But just listen to this commentary. Rain, this is after Kelsey has definitely dominated the first round. I think this is into the 3rd. You know, there's a lot of top pressure being put on by Kelsey. Yes, the strikes were perhaps in Clarissa's favor in the 2nd, but definitely the 1st and 3rd goes Kelsey's way. Here's the commentary.
I don't think either of these fighters should feel overly comfortable that the judges saw this go their way. That's not just...
Not overly confident. Like right away, they're kind of playing in. And I've seen commentators do this before, Kelsey, in different organizations where they start to kind of weave a story, perhaps.
Yes.
Or at least to me, in my conspiracy brain, it feels like that. It feels like they're trying to condition me to go, oh, this fight wasn't close. This fight was close.
100%. It's the same thing that they did when they highlighted the fight. They didn't even have enough highlight reel for her reel that they had to throw in my armbar. That's how bad. And the thing is, the commentary, you're right. And it was crazy because you watch the fight through and you're listening to Chael, and he's like, the fight really depends on the next 2 minutes and 30 seconds of this round, and at which I dominated the whole thing. And, you know, every time he would say something like that, it was like I was doing what they were saying. But would they mention anything about the takedowns or the dominant control that I was executing or my martial arts skills that I was executing? No, they were talking about, you can tell in the first takedown that I got in the first round, they were talking about, didn't say anything about me taking her to the ground with this leg trip. They said, oh, it's just so great. You don't see boxers going into MMA. Well, why don't you? It's because they end up on their back like that in a submissive position, like she was, and they get dominated and they get beat.
Yeah.
That's why.
So can I, okay. And then here's something else. Here's a article headline. This is from Mike Heck Jr. Don't say anything bad about him because he came on our podcast. He's a friend of ours. But the article reads, for those just listening on audio, PFL versus Bellator results. Claressa Shields narrowly escapes massive upset with split nod overkill. Why is this a massive upset? Like why would you, a professional mixed martial artist with plenty of combat sports background, being a Marine Marine Corps, and being everything that you are, it's not necessarily a massive upset. This is like, yes, we're interested in this fight. Yeah. But I feel like even those words continue to give her more clout or whatever the hell the word is.
Yes.
But painting her in a picture. And it's like, yes, we should be happy for her. We should be happy that people are coming into the world of MMA, taking it seriously, because I'm sure like as a respectable martial artist as yourself, you can say like, hey, I really respect that there's this person coming way out of their comfort zone to fight. But let's call things even, Steven. Like this was not Claressa Shields like you said, this is not Claressa making history here. The two of you were making history, right?
Exactly.
How, with all this being said, I watched her interview on Ariel Helwani. How have you been treated by the promotion, by PFL or /Bellator? Like, have they spoken to you? Like, what is the feeling from them? Have they ghosted you?
I am so thankful you asked this question. This is so interesting to me because you mentioned a little bit about my background, and I do have my degree in public relations, my master's degree in public relations and communications, and I've worked both in the private and public sector. And so I hyper analyze teams. I love looking at teams and how they operate. And I would be surprised. I want to find whoever it is. I don't know where the agenda is being passed down, or if somebody really doesn't like me. But I would love to figure out, like, I mean, I did find out from a few insiders, and it was kind of hush hush, that a few of them wanted me to win. They really did. And but they like couldn't say that. Do you know what, like, how weird is that they couldn't? They were like, oh, but don't like tell any, you know what I mean? Like, don't let anybody know that we really want to see you win. Like, and that's so bizarre to me, because the integrity of the sport, like, you should be just as much celebrating and promoting the two women who are there to make history in Saudi Arabia. You really should. Right. I had a guy that was on our return flight back, and he like came up to me, shook my hand, and he, you know, just like everybody, you won that fight. I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? And he's like, you know, I was contracted to do YouTube videos. But we were all confused when you got on the scale, because we were like, are we going to get to interview her? And no one said anything. Like they only got to do interviews with Claressa. Claressa was the only one that did like open workout stuff. And like, I totally get it. You know what I mean? She has a following. People, you know, and it's great, like you said, to have, you know, people from boxing come into MMA. That's what we want. Yeah. And that's why I celebrated from the beginning the fact that she's stepping out of her comfort zone. But why do we have to compromise our integrity and our values? Because I'll tell you what, I've had a lot of friends that have unfollowed PFL because of what happened. Or they've been like, this is bullshit. You know what I mean? And they're not afraid to say it. And I mean, neither am I. But I love the promotion. I think it's amazing that they are, you know, the acquisition of Bellator. I think it's incredible. The fight was amazing. Like, the venue, they did it right. They really did. The one thing the biggest discrepancy that I have with them is I don't know who's running their public relations or their media and their intent, because that all has to be in synchronicity. And it really does have to be fair, because if you're not following, and you can see the comments, you know what I mean? And so if you're not following the comments and then also having background conversations with your team, like, hey, maybe we should like fairn this up a little bit, like make things a little bit more balanced. But like, that wasn't really done. It wasn't done on the fly, which I'm a huge believer in leadership, adaptive leadership. So if you didn't think about it before and it's been brought to your attention, you better get your ass on it and fix it. So it wasn't done then, and it definitely wasn't done beforehand. There was like 100% an agenda. So thank you for asking that question, because I so want to continue to fight with PFL, Bellator, and I would love to be my goal this year was to be in the $1 million tournament. That's what I really want, you know?
Yeah. So now here's the thing. I mean, and I do hope. Are you in the middle of an eclipse, by the way? Because you're getting darker and darker. Are you okay?
Sorry. Are you... Yeah, no, I'm good. It's just like I'm outside with like the patio lighting. Is it? Okay. Do you want me to try to move around, or are we good?
No. I'm just scared that someone captured you in a van while this interview is going on.
Then elbows for sure would come out.
Yeah. Well, you might not be allowed to use them. You got to find out. Okay, so here's the thing, though. So what I thought was interesting was you came out with PFL gear.
Yeah.
Because this was your first time with the promotion as a whole. So I didn't know whether like you were going to be branded Bellator or whether you're going to be branded PFL. But you came out with the PFL gear. Mind you, the gear looks sick. I love it. It looked really good. Way better than UFC gear.
Can I interrupt you at that point? Okay, so Takedown Shop, you know, the relationship that they made with PFL and Bellator. So exciting. I got to meet the owner, which I love seeing CEOs boots on the ground. This is kind of like my whole evaluation, like when I go in business evaluations and stuff. Love him. I'm so excited for the partnership. There was a really strategic partnership that they made with them, and I think it's wonderful. He freaking killed it. He did like custom shit because we weren't able to wear like just sports bras. You know what I mean? Like, I was surprised they let us wear shorts. Like, I thought, okay, we might be in spandex. Obviously, the culture is different. Yeah. And he did overtime to create badass, like super custom gear. And I thought I would be repping Bellator too, but I think there was just a breakdown in communication as to what is that? I mean, obviously, there was a couple different breakdowns in communication.
Yeah, you're lucky you even got a fight kit. They were gonna just send you out in like a sheet,
I would have went. You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you, I'm there to fight. And thank you for introing me that way. Is because I've never ran from a fight. I'm always trying to test myself at the highest level, and I'm totally willing and accepting of not meeting the mark. And that's why I say in my bio, you can see my my true record should be more like 4-1. Amanda Bell beat me fair and square. The other fights that didn't get called my way were just totally bad calls. So
now that happens if and you've alluded to it now. If you don't get the Claressa Shields rematch, which I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go because what she's speaking now. I heard in a recent interview she said she's doing boxing next, so I don't even know when she comes back.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think she wants to box next for sure. Now, if you have the choice though, because now you're with PFL, you're with Bellator, I believe you're under contract, you get to choose, is my understanding from watching Don Davis speak about the whole merger. You're allowed to choose whether you want to go into the season or whether you want to just fight on the Bellator cards.
Is that right?
Okay, god damn it, Kelsey. Okay, can I just say, nobody seems to understand what's happening with PFL and Bellator. And I know that you're saying they're lovely and all that, and I really hope they do. I want to get Don Davis on this podcast. Have you spoken to Don Davis before?
No, but I need to.
Wait, do you know who he is?
No.
Wait, don't say no.
Yes, of course. No, of course. That's what I meant.
He's like the Dana White of PFL.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe we haven't spoken. I definitely need to talk to him.
Yeah, well, get him on this podcast. We can talk at the same time.
Okay, that would be great. I'd love that.
Okay. He's watching right now. Say hi. Hi, Don.
Hi. I will be the nicest in terms of, I possibly can, in terms of, positive recommendations moving forward. You know what I mean? Because obviously there's some breakdown in communication. But I'm thankful to be working with the organization. I think Brian told me that originally when we first signed the contract that I would be joining Bellator's roster after this.
Oh, okay.
Which I find is a huge compliment, especially considering Bellator dominated.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we can see
it would be interesting to see what happened. Well, hold on. They dominated in the men's side because there were no women's fights on that card, which was nonsense. Like the PFL versus Bellator, aside from your fight,
right? If they would have called it right, it would have been all Bellator. Besides that one,
where were the champions? Right? Okay, so but if you have the choice to fight on the Bellator cards, like the one-off events, or the season, mind you, the season you're not allowed to use elbows.
Okay.
Because I think that's a rule in the season because they do that so that you can continue fights. I think the idea is so that you don't get cut through elbows to the point where then like the stitches won't heal for your next round, right? I think that's it. If you had to choose, what are you choosing? The shot at the million or the
the shot at the million, to be honest with you. The shot at the million. But I still want to rematch Claressa with elbows because she needs that. But if it doesn't happen, it's okay. It's okay. But I think honestly that I kind of vibe with Bellator a little bit more. I love the PFL opportunities, but I vibe with Jason Jackson is one of my really good friends. Yoel Romero, I was so excited to see him and catch up with him.
I love you.
Yeah.
That's my Yoel impression, Rain. It's very good.
This is mine for him. I love his little God soldier thing. Yeah.
Soldier of God. I love that guy. Where are you now? Where are you located?
I'm in Boca, in Florida.
Do you by chance know Chuck Buffalo, Charles Radke?
No.
UFC fighter? Damn it. Okay. We're looking.
No, but feel free to make
him.
intros. Yeah, feel free to make intros.
No, I want you to get him on this podcast, Charles.
Oh,
Radke.
okay. Well, just send me a screenshot. I'll find him. As a Marine.
All right, I will. He's in Florida somewhere, I know.
I'll find him.
I did want to say, we had plenty of people write in. I'm sure many of them were your friends, and I apologize if we can't get to all the fan questions, but we're running out of time. I don't want to keep you too long, Kelsey. You are wonderful, by the way, and I really do hope that you come back on the podcast.
Oh, I'd love to. You guys are both wonderful. This was so fun. Thank you. Thank you for being the ones to hear me out. And I know a lot of people were looking forward to listening to this, so I appreciate you guys.
Rain, before I get to my last question, is there anything that you wanted to ask Kelsey?
Yeah, so it's an honor to be in the presence of a history maker like yourself, and also you have served our country. So thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
So my question for you is, do you have any experiences in the Marines that kind of like translated into your life now as a fighter?
Yes, ton. That's a great question. I used to always say. So I was a fighter before the Marine Corps. I was a Muay Thai fighter. And when I joined the Marine Corps and I started doing martial arts within the Marine Corps as well, I used to say that, and I still do, that being a Marine made me a better fighter, and being a fighter made me a better Marine. Like, the concepts go very hand in hand. They're very, there's a lot of synchronicity in warrior ethos. And how you use a continuum of force. For example, if your life is not threatened, you wouldn't take someone out with lethal force. You know what I'm saying? You use certain controlling tactics or a certain level of martial arts to meet the threat. And that's a higher level of martial arts because obviously, when you're in the moment, it's hard to slow down, so to speak, or to pull back. But knowing engaging, oh, how pretty. That was so cute. But yeah, knowing engaging, but also like being a Marine, that is something that is like embedded in us, like honor, courage, and commitment, and the true warrior ethos of being a good fighter and a good martial artist, like they go hand in hand. So that's a great question. Thank you for asking.
No, thank you for your service.
Thank you for your support.
No, it's incredible. Rain, I'm telling you, that interview that I heard, and when I was researching about Kelsey, like to find out about your life, Kelsey, is crazy. Like everything that you've accomplished in your life is fantastic. On that point, and you're talking about your military service, we did get one question from Mr. Poolseidon. He says, Kelsey, will you be my military ball date fall 2024?
Smooth. Yeah, no, for real. Hit me up in the DMs because somebody, obviously, JT accepted my invite and I'm all about it. I love the Marine Corps ball. So let's go. I'm in. Holy
crap. If we just made a love connection, Rain, we're getting invited to the wedding.
And, for sure.
All right. Well, hey, Mr. Poolseidon. And I said, are you serious? I did write back to this guy and I said, hey, are you serious? Or are you just like goofing? He's like, no, I'm serious. So there you go.
Let's go. We'll figure it out. We'll schedule it. We'll get it on the books. I'll book the babysitters. Let's go.
Kelsey, before I let you go, before I ask my last question, I wanted to ask, is there anything that you wanted to get out? Is there anything else that you wanted to say? Anything that we might have missed or something that you think like you really wanted to say?
Besides, thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you for hearing me out. This is near and dear to my heart. I love this sport. I love teaching. I love being a part of this community. And I have so many wonderful sponsors and supporters. Like I represented War Party Movement, which is super important for women that have been in abusive relationships and abusive situations. It really helps empower them and bring them back to full purpose living. I also represented We Defy Foundation, which gets veterans in their communities back or gets them into jiu-jitsu, which is super cool. I think a great transition for our veterans. It's an honor to represent both of them. And then I have a ton of other sponsors that help me in my community directly. Like Restore Del Rey has been with me for a long time. They're dedicated. They help me and my body recover. It's incredible. I just started ketamine treatments with KD Wellness here in Boca. Highly recommend. Super important to look into if you're into therapy and you need something for whether it's PTSD, anxiety, or anything like that. Highly recommend. And there's quite a few others like Naked Warrior Recovery. Navy SEAL owns that company. Supplements that I've used on the daily help me through fight camp. And Elite Mental Performers. Johnny is my therapist, psychologist. He's taking me to the next level mentally. I've been able to enjoy so much. You know, a lot of like, it used to be for me as a kid, it used to be like a very aggressive like translation of emotions with martial arts. And it's turned into my adulthood as a very therapeutic and gentle, but still hard, you know what I mean, art. And so I've been able to enjoy it every step of the way. And Johnny's helped me with that, Elite Mental Performers. And I have quite a few others. You can check them out on my page. I post about them regularly. Kilo Niner is one of my dog's vest. Homefront Canine, that I have my service dog Axe, who's awesome, my lifesaver. So there's quite a bit, but thank you guys so much for taking the time to talk with me and letting me shout out the people who helped me get to where I am. And I'm eternally grateful. I'm so blessed. Thank you guys.
No, thank you, Kelsey. I mean, you seem like one of the nicest people ever. I'm so happy for your success. I mean, what you've gone through in your life is crazy too. Like, I mean, doing everything that you've done, that cannot come without hardship. So I'm so happy for your success and for the positivity that you have, and for joining us is really appreciated. I do want to ask you one final question, which is a question that my mom used to ask me almost every day growing up when I was a kid. And I'm going to ask it to you. So Kelsey De Santis, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you?
I'm like 9.5. I don't see like, yeah, I'm super happy. Okay. I'm super thankful, super happy. I think that's a great question that your mom asked you. You know, like we have highs and we have lows. But honestly, everything is like perspective. And I think that if you're striving and you're trying, that you're doing, and if you look for purpose in what you love, that you can really get to those higher levels of happiness. And I'm super happy. I'm very thankful.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kelsey. Like, it was such a pleasure to meet you again. I hope you're okay. You're very dark, but I hope you're okay.
Okay, we're good.
Are you safe to walk home at night now? Like, you're okay to get home on your own?
Oh yeah, I'm good. Don't worry. Don't worry. Okay. I often, I have extra means necessary if needed. Don't worry, we're good.
Yeah. I hope you get that rematch with Claressa Shields.
Thank you.
I do hope so, because I think, here's the thing. I think that there's a story there now that's played out. I don't know who the hell else PFL has, you know, no offense, but I don't know who's in their roster, right?
Yeah.
Like, and there's not a lot. So who are you going to bring in for Claressa Shields to fight again? This may be the thing for her, because at least there's a story there. They can build it up. They've got some drama online. They've got the drama.
There's definitely, you're 100% right. There's definitely beef there now. Like, right. There wasn't before, but there is now. And honestly, if she's talking about trying to go after Cyborg next, the least she can do is make 155 and fight me and put a stamp on it.
Yeah. Figure out the proper weight class. Figure out the elbow rule ahead of time.
Yeah.
And Kelsey, I apologize, but you got to snap that arm.
I'm going, trust me, it's on now. Like, forget about it. I mean, it's going to pop, and the ref's going to have to save her. Yeah. You got to pop it. Kelsey, thank you so much for joining the podcast. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
I really hope that you come back before your next fight, before the season, whatever it is. Let's figure it out. If you see Don Davis, be nice to that guy.
For sure.
And tell him we said hi.
I will.
Yeah, tell him we said hi. One final thing. Who should we have next on the podcast that you know? Who's a cool person we should have on the podcast?
Oh my gosh. Well, I love Jason Jackson, and he just won another one of his fights. You know what I mean? Like, I met him. Yeah, he's my good friends. I could totally ask to see if you guys could schedule with him. I would love to hear you guys ask him some questions about his fight prep and this last fight. He is such a cool person mentally too. Like, I met him over 10 years ago, and it's funny, like, I don't know, he was very, like, I don't know if anyone knew him at that time, but I knew when I met him that he was going to be a champion.
Nice. Well, very cool. I'm going to hit you up for that contact.
Okay.
We'll get that done. But Kelsey, thank you so much. All the best to you. Have a wonderful day. And
thank you. Same to you guys.
Good luck in the future. You're going to kick ass, and we're here for it.
Yeah, let's go. I'm excited to see you guys again. Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
That is our interview with Kelsey De Santis. Good luck to her, man. Geez Louise. I'm so excited for it. Guys, this is going to end our episode. Next week on the podcast, we've got a champion in our midst. We've got Shannon Clark, the LFA flyweight champion. I showed you her video last week. It was where she possibly murdered a girl, but this is a quick clip of it. Ugh, that is her, but we will see her next week. So, Rain, thank you so much. If you're listening on audio, that's going to end the podcast here. But if you're on video, you're going to see a couple of options here to go on. We will see you guys next week. We love having this show. We keep having amazing, fantastic guests. Next week is going to be incredible. Rain, thank you so much and have a good one.
Thank you. Bye.
See ya.